sunshine. This is Divineunisouls 11. This is the playground experience. We have my co-host here, Kathy D, and the wonderful April Williams. Yay, the crowd. And we have our guest here, our own Bonita. See, if you have been on my channel, you always hear me refer to her as my guest, weather, not weather person, but field all the time. And
she's your field reporter.
And they're like, who the hell is Bonita? Don't worry about it. Now you see who she is. I got top secret behind the scenes, so you can ask who Bonita is. This is Squirrel. That's her nickname. Secret Squirrel is on here now. So we're talking about the playground experience, and the topic is redefining the family dynamic. We know that with this new thing that we're coming into now, which is us being in union, part of that is the family unit. And some of those things and aspects are actually changing. And Bonita is so well versed into this. I wanted her to come on to share her thing. We got something special for you all Friday too. So make sure that you are here at 6 o'clock Central Time and 7 o'clock Eastern Time. For the special thing that we're going to have for you all on Friday. But I want her to come and really talk about what things she's seeing about family, especially those of you all that have your counterparts already have a family, or you're thinking about having a family, and really how Source is going to use that dynamic for something great, or for a greater good and a greater cause as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Bonita to kind of give us a little bit, and we'll chime in and put our own stamp and things in it. But I really want you to hear about what's her vision and what Source has brought to her about what the family is actually going to move into and what it's going to actually look like.
Kathy told me you'd throw me out there, you know, just.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay. First of all, what was first brought to me before I even realized and understood mission was the dynamic of family changing, and it's changing because the unity consciousness is raising. Coming more into a level, because I mean, we're human, so we still experience, you know, we get aggravated, we get angry. There's some people that rub us the wrong way, you know, but still the raising consciousness is getting to the point where we're having more of a unity consciousness. It's not, you know, me versus them. It's more of a unity aspect. And with that comes a change in the family dynamic. Not as many, you know, like even if there's divorces or whatnot, it's not as hardcore, you know, the fighting, the melodrama, the kids being dragged back and forth and stuff. There's going to be more unity within it. People being able to co-parent better, the family dynamic changing. One that's interesting, I don't know if you guys have seen that show 911.
Is that the one with Rob Lowe?
No, the other one, the original one. With what's her name? They're in LA and she's married, she's a cop, and her husband, she finds out that he's actually gay. And for years, you know, they have 2 kids together, and for years he's hid himself. And she gets remarried, but they're still family, the family dynamic. They don't ostracize him, you know, they all work together. And I mean, that's like, when you watch it, it's a very healthy dynamic. And that's what is coming in. There's gonna be resistance. It's natural, especially because of foundations and paradigms that everybody is so set on. Often you have I'm so angry at them because they did this, and this, and you can't, it's so hard to co-parent a lot of times. But what was brought to me was that over the next decade, that unity consciousness is going to be raised so high, the vibration of the earth is going to raise so high that we're going to be able to start working together like that, regardless.
That's what I'm talking about. Are you as excited as I am?
Yes.
I'm so excited that you're thinking about how to make your way in the new earth.
Yes.
We are here to discuss it and grow the community, the conscious community with you. Right? That's a big, big thing, stepping into family, knowing that we're all one family and we don't necessarily like every person in our family, to be real with you. Right? But we do understand and respect that that person is a person and they deserve to have all of the basic rights, which are, you know, clean water, food, safety. I feel the paradigm of because the planet, right? The whole thing is shifting. Who feels it? Who's feeling it? Even though having the sense of like imposed, it's almost like little microaggressions on our sensibilities. We live a very almost caustic lifestyle in terms of how people talk to themselves internally. Lots of comparisons, lots of like imbalancing of resources. You know, all of these things are phasing out, and we're getting into an altruistic state when we realize there's enough for everyone. There's enough time and respect, and all of this comes into like the healing of the family, the removal of those layers of toxicity that were not only passed down through ancestral but societal as well. Like we're doing huge deep cleaning, and it's very exciting. It's very exciting. These dynamics, because I started watching. Probably stop watching, but Roswell.
Okay.
There's not the same story, but some similar premises with a homosexual male and a military family, right? And so there was some discord with that, but the sexuality is fluid, and so I'm starting to talk to more and more people, younger and younger, and the sexuality is a little bit more fluid in terms of what makes a person feel accepted and good. There's even like asexuality and people who are like completely abstaining from all of that, which is still just this beautiful spectrum of what is okay within the family structure, because most of society has been promoted like, oh, if there's a lack of resources, we need to procreate and make this family and build it on this space and collect this much amount of like food and water and da 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 da. And so people start to get into these like competition of resources for surviving, but we realize we no longer really need to do that. It's just about proper allocation. Like, what do you really need? We all don't need as much as we think we do. We're starting to learn that, and we're starting to pick out our values so that we can come into this global community. And I've got some stuff in the works. I'm very excited. And Bonita has a Wix. And what else do you have? You have a blog, YouTube, right? And what else?
YouTube channel and
things.
Wave of a Beautiful Warrior. And then Wix is on the app, not the website, but the Wix app. And it's just the initials. And you know what's odd is when I made up the name Wave of a Beautiful Warrior, it's actually an acronym from all three of our names. My counterparts and our third party, because I wanted to include her into it too.
So I heard some blast break of that. I'm gonna go check on that just a second.
Yikes. Okay. Since she kind of nicely segued into that, and I heard somebody also say, can you tell us and give us a little kind of background about you and maybe your gifts too as well, and you know, also your YouTube is too. Also,
Kathy's laughing at me. No, because she knows for the past 2 hours I've been going, I'm nervous. So she's sitting there checking. I got you. All right.
Would have known it. Okay, go on.
Okay, wait a minute. Start over. What did you want to know?
Phil, well, start off by. We can't hear you. You broke up.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to know about you and the gifts. You know, I mean, you know, give us a little background. You know, why? You know, the people like, well, who is she? That's what I heard somebody say. I'm like, okay. So.
Okay. I think I'm really starting to believe that the strongest gift that I've been blessed with is the fact that my counterpart and I have experienced the template of marriage and having kids.
Okay.
And I think that's why the family dynamic and mission with kids and mission with helping to grow that consciousness and everything was brought to me. Because to be honest, when it first started, I thought it was going to be a program. I thought it was going to be like a program, like say a K through 12 program or something like that, because I've always worked, teaching and stuff. And I kept getting bits and pieces here and kept being told, hold, until I think it was May that finally I got downloads and I got, shown exactly what I was supposed to be doing and where it's supposed to all be laid out. I mean, I had a YouTube channel set up and created back in October of last year, just sitting there on hold, just because they told me to do that. And what was happening was we were waiting for the energies to shift, the unions to start coming in and stuff like that, because that's where the dynamics and everything were going to start changing, and we were going to start forming the family dynamics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I am a clear channel. I am an empath. I have really strong knowings. And I have her DM in my head half the time. The channel is, I was trying to tell April, it's Wave of a Beautiful Warrior. And the Wix is the abbreviation of that, WOABW. And it's on the app.
Yes, they have a lot of good things on there as far as posting discussions and questions and things that are related to family. Have they shown you as far as what the family dynamic is going to actually look like? Have you seen that?
It's gonna be it's weird, because not weird because nothing they do is weird. They have a plan for it all, but it's like a mixture. It's there's nothing concrete. It's like it's an ebb and a flow that I've gotten. It's gonna depend on because everybody's adventure, I said it right this time, adventure is different. And that's what's going to contribute to what their dynamic is going to look like. But in the end, eventually, as a unity consciousness, those on the certain, up to that level, it's going to flow together. It's just going to start vibing and waving and I just realized something. The channel name, there's a reason for everything. It's just, yeah.
The waving and the
Thank
flowing.
you. Yeah.
That's how the channel she is. They're throwing it at her every minute. Just like that. And another one. And another one. And another one. And another one. That's how clear she is. I got you. When I think about the family dynamics, I think about, I don't know why it always comes to mind, but like Will and Jada Pinkett Smith, and they're also Cherie, the bonus mom. I'm always think is my mom was even talking about Jada this morning. She's like, them kids is weird, but that's because she's from the old template. But I understand the freedom of expression that Jada and Will have allowed them to express themselves with the fluidity and everything like that. And the understanding of the dynamic of being okay with the mother from the previous marriage, or being a mother from kids that came before marriage as well, and how is that beautiful blending of both those two families together, that he's like, I'm blessed I have Jada in my life, and vice versa, and how even the son Trey is even saying that, oh, that's probably why I said Trey, but anyway, Trey was also saying that his dad is his best friend. The old template, that would never happen. The 50s.
Yeah.
You're not my best friend. Stop calling me that. I'm your father.
Yeah, I'm your parent first. I'm not your friend.
I'm not your friend. And see that, and tears in his eyes as he was like behind him as he was saying that. He was like, you calling me his friend. That kind of dynamic of how we're doing that shifting there. when you talk about that, that's one of the aspects that I see
Yeah.
myself. I say about the new dynamic that we're shifting, and me actually being able to image it and visualize it coming
Yeah.
into force.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All of my kids, every single one of them has an additional parent. It's ended up that way.
Well,
Our
other
old-
than the two that are yours and your DMs.
even they have additional parents.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Second and third step parents, you know what I'm saying? And they have played an active role in their lives, and like graduations and everything, get-togethers for family. I mean, it's crazy because it's this whole blended family, and I mean blended by blended family, and it's and these women are strong women, and I will say those are my daughter's moms, and people will look at me, well, you're their mom. Yeah, but they're their mom too. They took a hand, and I will give them that honor, and that's sorry. That's one of the reasons I'm being told that's why they just made me start stuttering. But being able to, I don't know, I guess it's a different type of consciousness. Even
it's definitely a new,
even
it's a
before
newer vibration that people are like adopting, even in the language. Like, I see the outphasing of brats, and like just the negative language towards the children created this disconnect, right? Because if you're not respecting the placement of the child, how does the child respect the placement of the adult, and how does it all flow without that mutual understanding, but also respect of like knowledge and experience without embodying, right? And we're starting to reimagine. We're starting to reimagine like karma, right? Because it's not just an act, a physical act. It's actually the blood that you share, the gifts that you give, your internal workings. Because you pick up your parents' kind of ways they think about themselves and how they do their like, judgment and boundaries and things like that. And then it isn't until now that a lot of us have awakened to the space of, those weren't really balanced, right? So that's why our relationships and our communication, interpersonal, just hasn't been working out. And as we have more perspectives, like I love that each of your children have such strong, like loving and supportive towards their most well-being, right? So they are able to not only have the discernment of the parents, which gives them more wisdom, but then they have their own, because we're teaching them how to learn and love and understand themselves and their bodies and their emotions. And, I know that before I knew that I was deaf, there's a lot of things that right? But going to have the child, and I learned all of these purification rites, right? On how to commune and connect with my body and my energy, and respect the womb space and the creation of being the vessel for carrying a being onto this planet. And when you respect that space, which that consciousness is spreading, when you respect that space, the energy that comes through you is allowed to sit at a higher base resonance. So a lot of people are sloughing off all of the old paradigm stuff. Like I can tell you that we are working through a lot, right? Yeah. And our kids will get to work through less. There are cultures that have that reverse where we're going to hold our children down because we were held down. It's like, no. All of that is shifting. All of that is now going into a new space, and we're entering into, like you're saying, unification, almost like a neutrality, where we're like, we're all important, right? Like my individual customs and ways of being, holiday traditions, how I build family, how I build these memories. These are important. This is our style. But then you get introduced to the new culture or the new individual, and you introduce their style. While we say, and we're able to hear with less victimization and more mutual understanding. So when someone says that, like let's say hypothetically, someone gets offended because they had a bad relationship with their mother or father, right? And on Father's Day or Mother's Day, they have some kind of incident where they just can't connect to the holiday. So instead of just being all about them and their victimization of that holiday, they can then tap into a new paradigm of what is the society we want to see? Let us promote the positive father image. Let us give young males things to strive for. Let us provide the support for that. Or for women,
Yeah.
right?
My lights just flashed.
Women, they had manipulation kind of stuff going on. They had to control what was happening because their parent was stuck in a kind of arrested development.
Yeah.
And so, all that inner childhood working, those of us who have seen and witnessed within ourselves, Bertina, our Divineunisouls, has some great work if you want to do some really nice child work. A deep masterclass set that's really, really great.
Amazing.
But it allows you to have an open conversation with someone and see, this is how I'm reacting because of these experiences that I had. And I want to see that I'm doing that so I can move forward and allow myself to really come into full intimacy with you or full connection with you, because now we have a richer experience. And then the child sees, oh, well, I can communicate too. Oh, yeah, I can see that. Or, and then they're able to hear themselves clearer from their particular perspective. And I think we're working our way to a really harmonious, flowing community. And that's the beauty of being in a healthy family, or stepping towards that integration of, dare I say it, science and spirit.
Maybe. I keep seeing dominoes. While you're talking, I'm seeing dominoes. Like,
am I winning? Bones! Just kidding. I know we're not playing bones. I know we're not playing bones. We're doing the design, right? The design.
Yeah, that it's just tick, 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 tick.
There's no gambling on this show.
I can't play craps on the playground.
No, I don't know what she's talking about. There's no gambling.
All bets are put in the private chat. Let me know and we'll take care of it.
Can only be done in candies, cookies, pies.
In sunscreen.
There you go.
Sunscreen?
Licorice.
Don't figure that out. What you say, Christina?
Said licorice.
You never
like,
get
what do they call that? What are these ones? Marbles.
Oh, marbles. The shooters.
Yeah.
I forgot what they call it, a Whopper or something, or that
the
was
shooters.
Top.
Those are the big shooters. Well, I think not only with the kids are we seeing the change in the family dynamics, but we're seeing it in the family as a whole, because it's no longer that blood tie. It is, such a broader spectrum of who is family and how we move into that. And that's where that soul family comes in, because at that connection, those wonderful cultures that all come in with it, and then how it enriches our children and lifts and really and truly, when you think about it, the Brady Bunch was really onto something a very long time ago. Because you know what, you never saw either one of those parents treat the kids differently.
Right.
They were theirs. There wasn't any of this his, hers, and ours. It was theirs.
Yeah.
And we're coming to that, and we're coming to that realization, that however it works, and you see these beautiful pictures on Facebook and on Instagram and stuff of like the little tiny kid, maybe like 5 or 6, playing pee-wee ball, and mom's on one side and it says mom and the kid's number, and on the other side it's dad and the kid's number, and then next to dad it says stepmom, and next to mom it says stepdad, and it's this awesome picture of this wonderful support that this kid has. And I saw that picture years ago, and those people need to be commended, because they really were starting this whole movement of the new family and how it's put together.
I saw some ads, like, you know, they feed you ads for the holidays on like Insta or whatever. And they had like even new paradigm shirts or mugs and stuff where it was like step up dad, you know, step up mom. Right?
Oh, that's
The
cute.
definition,
Wow.
little definition where this person came in to like help support and, you know, all
when they didn't have to, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that. And that's what we're really moving into, the paradigm of understanding that family is more than blood, too, as well. And how that's even going on the scope of, you brought up another dynamic. We can span it on to say soul family as well. Which we kind of pretty much brought that up in circle time, and we can reiterate and kind of for everybody, because some of them might have that same thing as far as when we're talking about the soul family and how different children bring on that aspect of choosing the families, and then also having these bonus. I guess Jada, she didn't plug it in my head, but the step up, I like that too. Step up mom or step up dad, or the bonuses as well. You know, how is that dynamic helping to build uh the child as well in that type of dynamic? I won't say about the what she's talked about, the soul agreement, because I already believe and know that, you know, especially with children, when they come through, they choose who their parents or who they want to be a part. Everybody does that. Everybody part playing a part in everybody's life is already chosen. They choose those players. You can interchange them too, but also how does that play a part of having these extra people that are not even family ties to them? How does that help the child for their own growth as well? If I'm explaining it right. You know.
Yeah, I think it gives the child a sense of belonging, because when they attach to that soul family, and it doesn't have to just be parents, it can be grandparents in my family dynamic, you know. And it was really it was amazing when my girls met, you know, their grandparents, you know. And it was Helen said, I found that part that was missing that I never knew was missing.
Mm.
And it's like this next generation of kids, they so get it. They understand that, you know, there are pieces and parts that come from everywhere, and they're real quick to tell you who they bond with and who they don't.
Yeah.
And but it's that dynamic of, you know, they feel it, they just know, and it just adds to that support of who they are, and really freeing them out of the paradigms of everything that's been put on our generation or their parents' generation, and letting them be them and be supported for who they are and how they think, and not judged by what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my oldest is, one of the schools she's looking at is Ohio State. And she said, and I said, well, that'll be kind of far, you know, if you get sick or something. And she says, no, Mommy, I got all that family now, you know, up there. And she says, well, heck, if I run into any problems, I'll just call Aunt Bertina. And I'm like, well, there you go. You got it all solved.
You got it all solved. Right.
But it was just there was no stop to it. That was just the flow to it. Like, well, I don't understand what the problem is. You know, this I have family there, you know.
And that's
kind of also too. Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
good.
I was going to say, what Kathy brought up, they know who they connect with and who they don't. And I can remember, my mom wasn't so bad about it, but I remember, you know, grandparents, you know, it was a matter of respect, you know, so-and-so spoke to you, or so, you know, you have to have something to do with this person because they're family and stuff like that. My mom thankfully wasn't, you know, too bad about that. She did ask for me to, you know, be respectful, but it's also giving the kids the leeway to know their own mind, to know their own spirit, to know their own soul and what they're connecting to. Because I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say it. The kids that are coming in now, they're just way more advanced than we were. Spiritually, they're there.
Yeah, they come in ready. They come in hot. They give us gifts. We get to choose it or not, right? Because we can choose that ease of flow.
My little granddaughter, I see it. It emanates off of her. Kathy's kids, they blow my mind. Yeah, it's
when
that's biblical too. I mean, you know, that's in the Bible where they say they come in weak but wiser. So, you know, but they've already have stated that they're going to be wiser than the greater than the he that is in me that's in the world. But they're supposed to do greater things anyway.
Yeah.
That's the point of children anyway. They're supposed to do greater than you. And it's always say each generation is going to be much wiser than the last one.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it's much needed, especially where we're going with this new earth that they're setting up. Speaking of April, I want you, and you kind of downplay it, but I think that's one thing that I know that I definitely admire you, how you had already had set the precipice or the energy for your beautiful being that you have now, that you set the intentions already, and how, especially with this family dynamics, and if you know you're thinking about having a kid or you want a kid or whatever it is, how important also that child could be able to just step right on into that template that you set forth. Can you kind of share a little bit about, you know, when you're ready and you're with your person or whatever, what things that you had did to kind of get ready for that new being?
Let me take you to church.
Oh,
Here we go.
Keep
hands and feet inside the ride at all times.
So, let's just take a breath. Let's take a deep breath. Let's feel and honor our sacredness. Let's feel and honor our temple as it is right now. Perfect in its imperfection, flowing here and now. Okay. Now, I have a lot of childhood trauma. A lot of us went through a lot of stuff. But something within me, and it might be the cosmological makeup of me, like numerology, or just God within me, how they prayed over me. We'll see. But I was able to come in with the template of knowing I change and I clear and I bring light to. Even when I thought something was set in stone, spirit came through and broke through and said, nope, that's not going to fit in the paradigm. We need to clean it up. So that's why you should never really hold too much regret or too much anger and sorrow or whatever from the past. Just allow things to be as they are right now, because that's where you can kind of feel and see and keep going and know your importance and your value. So as I began to explore these depths of depression or anxiety or, feeling down about myself, I began to peel that back. What was mine? What was my mother's? What was hers? What was put on by society? Like all these things. So I did these meditations every day. I was blessed enough to be able to do this. You can do this in less than 15 minutes. A couple of these are like 1 minute, 2 minute exercises, but they're to train the brain and to rewire your chemistry, to awaken and rejuvenate your chakras and to clear things out. And then also to feel your body, your physical, your energy bodies, all of these things. So this is like combinations of other people's exercises, and you do them different parts throughout the day, but you always make sure that you care for yourself and your temple and your well-being, because everything that you give is karma. Everything that you're doing, you're creating is karma. So the beings that you're bringing into this earth plane, it's to help harmonize and flow with her. See, I looked at and studied what worked for what societies and what didn't work. And what worked was flowing with nature. What worked was flowing with the ebbs and flow of the moon, noticing how the plants were growing, seeing how all of the animals and everything were in flow. And how do we go with that? Now, how does that modernize? You take the time to heal yourself mentally, emotionally, your triggers. Do your best to work through the majority of them and understand that they will kind of consistently be there because they're part of the programming that we've created for ourselves, but they don't have to affect us in the same way. So if you allow for that kind of change. Then I went through and healed for my mother because she was the one who raised me and carried me. This is where I learned the majority of my things. And any disconnect or connection that she had with parents or soul family or adopted parents, things of that nature. I went through all that, and then I did as much as I could with my father, and that part was kind of more difficult for me. I can see that, and I give it myself that space to grow in that, and not attaching judgment to me either way. So in that sense, I call after I felt clean, right? Because I was doing the yoni steams, I was doing all this stuff. I had read somewhere, and I thought it was always. I think it's a little bit unfair. It's going to be unfair. But for women, it takes more time because we hold more density, we hold more energy. So to fully clear anything you eat for 2 years will go into that egg.
Yeah.
Anything you think energetically, anything you flow with for 2 years is the makeup of that child, which whatever hasn't already been created at the moment of your creation, right? Because there's still something that was created from your parents to create your child, right? So you're thinking you've got to clear and hold space for all of this energy to get itself to the most enlightened that you possibly can, right? If that's what you're going for, for within yourself, just to hold peace, right? Because you see so many different examples of what the media tells you childhood is like, what children are like, what their personalities are. And then, most people don't even really know how to commune family because society is kind of torn apart families through working, through forcing like stressful living environments, different things like that. To prevent people from really developing full family, that core heart-to-heart connection, right? Where everybody's been kind of like in a little bit of survival mode from the moment they exit the hospital, right?
Yeah.
So I myself have a birth disability, okay? So I was like, how can I correct this for my child? Well, I'll research home birthing. Now that was my choice, my option, right? And what I'm learning about what happens to the child once they have drugs put into their system or, different things like that. This is across the board. All the children are gifted, and it doesn't matter how they come in, right? Because they're all choosing.
Mm-hmm.
I know that how I prepared myself was going to be in alignment with my future children, because that's how I refer to them. As like my future children. What's my future children do here? Are they birthed of me or adopted or whatever? My future children. So I cleansed my body. I became in alignment, and then I just um, allowed. I was doing all kinds of self work. I was allowing myself to feel loved and happy, and I was dancing. I was performing. I was doing all the things that made me feel in my highest vibration, and so I could attract and hold that soul in. It looks kind of like in the mind's eye when you get into meditation. Because I would get into meditation with my baby father, and I would rate his energy up, and we
Mm.
sit in the space, and when we actually conceived, we both were aware that we conceived. And it was just this beautiful thing. And like even when you're having that kind of moment where you're allowing spirit to guide you and you walk through that, like I saw the soul follow me around before he entered into my body. And then when he entered into my body, he gave me like throughout pregnancies, visions, feelings, like all kinds of connections. And they're amazing if you allow yourself to open into your gifts, because you have to understand you're amazing. You are the gift the earth gave herself. And we are the gifts we give our family. So then we flow into that. Even if our family is acting like total turds sometimes.
I got a question. Because while you were talking about the natural things you were doing to prepare, I kept feeling and hearing something about the natural aspects of it helping to clear ancestral lines.
There's some nice DNA meditations that I'll be putting out really soon for womb healing, for clearing out, because the woman has this beautiful organ that allows her to slough out. The other ways to like let things purge out of your system: sweat, exercise, and working them out of the cells, right? But this meditation works on a DNA level to help restructure you with your own energy, with your own channeled light, God energy, because God comes through all of us. God speaks through all of us. And so I would do these meditations while I was young, or while I was doing a self like external like kind of massage type thing, or even while I told Bertina about that. You when you adorn your body with oils and lotion, you say positive affirmations, or you can put it on the bottle so that it's like just being programmed into what you're putting on. You've all heard about Dr. Mario Emoto, is that what it is? Messages in water.
The water.
Yeah. And we are bodies of water, right?
Yeah.
So we have to retrain our brain, because most of us have a lot of negative self-talk, negative talk in general, judgmental stuff, and it's slowing us down. It makes us double question ourselves to the point where it's frustrating. And that's what
we end up doing double time.
Hmm?
We end up doing double time trying to, fix that thought process.
About. Stop that double talk. Help me out. You know what I noticed? Old colloquialisms are programming.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like we find ourselves using them automatically. Like they're family passed down, but their family, it's a negative. It's negative.
It's got negative connotism.
Yeah. But they've normalized it. Like, life is hard.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it isn't. Life is beautiful. Yeah. Life is a dance. Life is flow. Yeah. So changing the language. I'm a big fan of saying, God bless it. Right? Because I love everything to be blessed. I stay blessed. I stay golden. Hello. Anyway. Plug.
Okay, so now I've got a question. So April, now, you know, I know myself, but I'm also here, and I understand because you and I have talked about this. But for those of you, those out there that are listening to this, and they go, "Well, I've already had my kids, so I wasn't able to do this. I hadn't woken up yet. Did I just totally screw up my kids? What do I need to do to fix them?"
What is so
I was tapping into that too.
What is so cool is that when you work on yourself, everything else changes. And they are made of your blood. Yeah. You made their bones. You made every inch of them, except for the tiny little wink that Daddy left off the gate. That twinkle in Daddy's eye. He left. But the more work you do, the more they do. And you're perfect. You're perfect, remember? Because they chose you. They chose this time to be born.
I laugh because my oldest says sometimes she thinks I lied on my resume. and she said that long before I ever said anything about, you know, she choosing me or anything like that. She says, "You know, I chose you. And I believe you lied on your resume."
Jokes. You got jokes. That's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one does.
Yeah, that is too cute.
Well, I have found too that as you heal yourself and you work through that ancestral things, and you things start becoming clearer on, you know, we go back to the fact that a baby has two fears in life, and that's a loud noise and being dropped. And those are the only two fears we're born with. Everything else society gives us or has been placed on us. And so I have made it a point of, you know, I apologize to my girls. You know, I'm sorry I didn't know better. And I didn't handle this situation right. And this is how I should have handled it, because I don't want you to repeat this. And so I pointed out to them that this is what this is. And this is why we have to work through this.
And caveat, she forgives herself. She moves forward. She doesn't keep beating herself over and play victim or any nonsense.
Right. And that, you know, I've forgiven myself, and I want to then explain to the girls, you know, this is what happened, and I want to apologize to you all because now I know. And now you need to move forward with that knowledge as well.
Yeah, it's very helpful to hear that apology. You know, I talked to David, and he told me, like, you know, as a parent, you try to do your best And and I had that conversation even with my mom about some things, and she was like, yeah, I was trying to save my marriage, and I was doing the best that I could at that time.
Mhm.
And I understand that I told her I came up with a new saying between them two. I got caught in the crossfire between them on some things. I mean, I had a beautiful life, but like I told her today, she's like, "Will you please tell the people that you did have a beautiful childhood?" I did have a beautiful childhood. It was just that issue that was going on between those two. That was their issue, but I was just caught in the crossfire between those two, with them trying to
Yeah.
find themselves as well. But and she did apologize, and that did do a world of good for me to know that I wasn't crazy. And I was like, "Somewhere ain't right here," So to hear that apology from my mom, I think that was cleansing even for her. And then it was also helpful for me too to be able to move on and say, okay, now when I become a parent, I'm not like what April said. I'm gonna take that charge. Well, I want to treat it right as a child, and so when I have a child, they gonna get what I got, and so I'm gonna pass that on, and then they gonna pass it on to their children, and then so on and so on. And you're like, no, 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 no. That the buck stops right here, and we're going to clear that out so it doesn't keep on going generational. And you being twin flames, that's not going to be able to kind of that type of energy is not going to be able to hold as well. I was trying to see another aspect when we're talking about that came up, and then we're talking about soul families and defining it. And I'll let you all chime in about that. What is it? I know the answer, but I'm just going to play dumb. What is it about your divine counterpart that's has a child and you feel connected to that child? What is like? It's more than just like that's just their child. Like you feel like it's yours together. What
Congratulations.
It's a boy or a girl, or maybe both. It's your soul child. It is literally your child just on the 5D. Somebody else had your baby for you, but it's still yours. Yeah.
Right, this for the newbies. I know the answer, but and I'll chime in afterwards. But I notice even on my channel, we're getting a lot of newbies. So break it down like they don't know what
Yeah.
what do you mean by soul child? What is that? And what?
Okay. Kathy, go ahead.
Oh, when you have a soul child, they have the 3D parents, and they have then a very strong connection to the DM or DF, depending on whichever way it flows, and right down to characteristics, and even sometimes facial features, builds, but a lot of likes, like food likes and things like that, laughs, jokes. And then they wind up being a lot of times when, for whatever reason, you've put up walls or you're in a place that you're not high enough vibration, the divine counterpart actually will come to those children and ask them to speak to you for them. And just as mom, get it together. There's no reason to be from the beginning, literally from the day that I got ghosted. My oldest came to me and said, he'll be back. What are you worried about? It's just going to take some time. He'll be back. And she would get aggravated with me because this new set of kids, they don't have all the other baggage. They don't look at things time. They don't see things like that. And so she would get, why are you crying? He's coming back. I don't, what's the problem? She was just kind of like, snap out of it, woman. But yeah. And some of them do know. Some of the, I was the dense one on that. My DM had told me, months before we separated, that different things that the girls got from him. And he would say, well, they get that from me. And at first it threw me off. I was like, huh? No, huh? No, they don't. No. No. And I'm like, And then after, Dark Night of the Soul and all that fun stuff, it became very clear that, oh yeah, they get a lot of that from you. And but yeah, and it's an amazing thing. It just, if you've ever had any doubt in it, that is your confirmation right there. And then on top of that, to have, I think the neat thing about this new generation of kids too, as they're coming up, we have to remember, whether you believe in it or not, some souls do come back. Energy can't be made or destroyed.
Right.
So we have to remember that. That's scientific. So,
Yep.
To know that they're coming back, and actually, Bonita and I had a neat conversation the other day talking about, we didn't realize that a lot of times when these kids come back, they're literally coming back a lot of times from our family line.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, my oldest is my mother. And so in a way, when you think about it, I get to raise my mom, but that's where the friend part comes in, because when she left, she was my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can help that 14-year-old version of her heal the things that I'm healing as well. So we're healing as a family, multi-generational.
Okay.
And I got to meet my great nephew, and I put third eye to third eye, and it was clear as day. He said, "You're my Aunt Kathy," and I said, "Yeah," and he said, "We've met before," and I was like, "Where?" And he said, "You'll know soon enough." And then he kind of leaned his little body back and just laughed, like one of those little baby Buddha laughs. And I was just like, okay.
You know me.
You'll know. But yeah, so it's so neat when you really, immerse in this and you start understanding soul family and soul children. And that's truthfully, when you grasp that soul family, you have to have an understanding of soul children, because that's how they connect. That they tell us before a lot of times we know. They know who family is.
Yep.
They know where there's a connection. And
Right.
and that's the thing, and we need to be mindful of it.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. Because I know even my mom said when she was younger, she always used to tell her mother, "I wish I could be your mom. I wish I could be your mom." And then I came along. It's like, wait a second. I think that came true in you. Because you say that, and
My
you
mom
was,
used to always tell me, "I wish I was your friend. I wish we grew
yeah,
up together."
right.
And
And
so kind of in a way, as I'm healing this, we are.
Yeah.
yeah.
When I was doing a lot of my deep healing before I had my child, I was able to witness, like, it goes both ways, yeah. So you heal forward generations and past.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
so a lot of the work I was doing allowed for her to heal a lot of the stuff that she needed to work through. And I was able to express to her and communicate with her where she was able to hear from a new space as I embodied this new grace that I was given and this new levels of understanding and integration and healing. And just doing that work for them eased up certain aspects of my life as well. So, just,
Yeah, you notice that is very freeing. Here we go, that word free again. But it's not a joke really, but it just like, you said you noticed that, and while we're here, and we don't even really realize it until it's kind of put in front of us, and some of us are hard-headed, but when it is, you kind of sit there and go, oh. And it's very freeing.
Right. It is.
Oh, and Bertina,
Yeah.
you were talking earlier, and I know that you're the daughter of twin flames, but sometimes it escapes my mind.
Uh-huh.
But when you were talking, a light bulb kind of went off in my head, because I am still dealing with that, knowing the dynamic, and how it kind of got a little bit toxic between my
Yeah.
counterpart and I, and the kids in between,
Yeah.
and hearing you, and the fact that, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that, you didn't turn out that bad. I don't know. I just kind of went ding, ding, ding. Oh my God, my kids are going to be okay. So
You don't notice the twitch sometimes? I twitch a little bit, no, but it's not. I think about David, and he helped me to kind of come to that realization. He said, even in that situation, I learned diplomacy. He said he's always noticed with me. I always am in the moment. That's because of what happened with the dynamics between my mom and dad. That I was able to use that and turn it around as a gift. So it's like a double-edged kind of sword there, because it helps me to be extra empathic. I can tell about this is a good mood today. This is pretty good. No, wait a second. I'm sensing something. Okay, I feel like a fight is about to come up. So I can use that intuition and that gift, the energy, to be able to even use that for the gifts that I even do for the collective. Like, I could talk to you. You notice I say that your voice is low, something ain't right.
yeah.
I can tell that kind of thing. Or when somebody fights, it's kind of hard for me to kind of get that out of my system as well. So yeah, you're okay. You use that. It get used it's you just have to learn how to channel that energy. You get trained. It's almost like warrior nun, but you get trained.
They are gonna get so much coverage because of us.
Yeah, yes, on that one. And also, like you said, you can sense that even that comes around. Even is the spirit coming in? Okay, okay. Be quiet, because it's the spirit walking in. But
Yes.
okay, real quick before the spirit comes on in with this, because you opened up. Two things again. Understand it.
Now she just went into Calypso from, Pirates of the Caribbean.
I was like, Calypso?
Yeah, but two things about that. But it is true that you are able to, as a twin, be able to adopt their children too, because I've even seen that with my mom. She has one of my dad's children, because we got a set of other children, half, but they're still my sisters and brothers, that she can link in and know when she's in trouble. So and so is in trouble. I can sense it. Now that's not her child. She didn't birth her, but she has extra sensory with that one. That's the same thing with like Kathy D was talking about that. I teased mines one day, and I just instinctively started calling it our children. And he caught on to it. He's like, okay, well, your son needs so and so, or your son is in trouble, or your daughter is in trouble. So blah, blah, blah. And he adopted it. I would think with a person, if you know him, he would say, what you calling them? That's my kid. That's our kids.
Yeah.
So on the soul level, he even knows, even he's awakened or unawakened, they even get and sense that up too. And a lot of things, like you said, you do reflect some of the things. One of his kids is kind of artsy. I said, oh, he's just like his mom. He's going back to school. I said, oh, he's just like his mom. So my thing is, like, you are able to pick up those things about those kids. I can tell about both of them when they're in trouble. I was like, what's happening with so-and-so? He's like, what? I say, okay, I sense something's not right with her. And he's like, okay, well, blah, 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 blah. So, they do become yours. So I've seen two examples of that. So I know that to be true.
Yeah.
You do adopt energetically to your other counterparts' kids.
I have my stepdaughter. That's the same way. We can go a few days without talking. I don't have to be. We can go weeks without talking, but I will feel it and I'll sense it, and I will text, baby, what's wrong? Nothing, Ma. Nothing, Ma. No, baby, what's wrong? How do you always know, Ma? I don't know. But when you were talking, I kept hearing the word, we claim them.
Right.
And that's part of it. We claim them.
Yes.
And we have that willingness to unconditionally, and even no matter what happens with our counterparts, we claim them. And there's that's a raise in vibrance.
Right. That is true. That is true. I did claim them. I'm claiming nobody else right now, but I'm claiming them.
I'm gonna claim all the little children, because Jesus loves the
Well, good. I'm sending my kids' Christmas list to Auntie Heather or Auntie April there in Hawaii.
They
Since
probably
she's
not
fine
gonna get nothing no from Auntie. Just kidding. They might get a smile and a bag of sand.
They get some shells and a plant.
Actually, that would be cool. I could
That
do
would
show-
be cool.
Oh man, let's do some
All right.
kind of like crazy like Christmas trade where
that
you
would
can't
be fun.
spend any money. It has to be like a natural thing, but it has to also be in flow with the divine, right? Like you can't just do it all willy-nilly. You gotta like honor the plants and do all that. You can't just cut off a piece of tree and say
Send it.
Merry Christmas.
I call this
Merry Christmas. It's an oak.
Succulents work. Succulents. They work. They survive anything.
I know, that's what happened outside. My little succulent fell. I just actually got the first bloom out of her. A friend of mine gifted me. She has a really cool little family. Anyway, I do think that we're moving beyond just like you're saying, the in-house secular? That's not right. Biblical? I don't know.
I think
Blood
secular's
family.
closer.
Blood family. We're moving in.
sound like vampires. No, it's like
The modern succulent. I'm pretty excited. Okay. So it's going to be a new wave. So I'm feeling into the different energies because it was interesting. We're going a couple different ways with it energetically. So it's how we begin the flow. How do we clear the path? So maybe this healing today we'll do a collective clearing, a collective energy stir. Not to make an energy stir to create more space for openness in the new family paradigm.
okay. I like that.
So, and what that means is we get a little bit triggered, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to tower.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, this aha moment, and we're going to heal and allow for things that we wouldn't normally think of as okay, right? Like we say things like, "Oh, that's a crazy experience," but just opening up to receiving the spirit children, receiving the spirit elders, right? Because they have a lot of knowledge that they're teaching us. And as we heal and honor ourselves, it leaves even more space for them in our entire universe to feel itself in clarity, for us to have community as family. So let's begin. Let's all take a deep breath in. And let it out with a sigh. I want you guys to move a little bit. I want you to shake, right? I want you to allow freedom into the spaces. Where are you tight? And then oscillate back and forth too. There you go. Just let the waves go through your spine. Let all the spaces go. Let all your muscles just kind of stretch and fill their spaces even more full. Okay, let's take another deep breath and let it out with a ha or a sigh. One more time. Okay, and a third. So you should feel a lot of little open cracks in your body, a lot of little open cracks in your energy. Now you have you're an egg. You're in an egg. You're in a gold egg, right? Gold, rose gold, violet. For sacred protection, you've got all these spaces in your body, and you want to feel them up. So imagine that energy pours in from the universe, deep within the universe. Energy beams down like a homing beam straight into your egg and fills your egg up with a golden light. And your body is a little bit more dense. Go ahead and wiggle it. Take some breaths. Allow that all that space to fill up with the gold light with the egg. Allow all those pieces that are seemingly dark fill up with that golden light. And then from there, it starts to seep into the actual physical body. And there you can see it. There you can feel it fill with this golden light of love and joy and Christ energy. Yes, it is very hot. Yes, it is getting hot. There's a lot of heat.
Woo!
We are bringing in the light. We are allowing our hearts to open and allow it to come from the energy from the inside out, so that you can either go green or pink or however you vision your heart, that light, that color, and allow it to fill your body going out, so you look kind of like a two-tone flower. Your body is gold and also pink or green. It's just flowing the universe. Ooh, my hands are lit up. Here we go. Keep breathing. Let out 3 more sighs. Okay, 1. 2, really breathe in that energy. So everything you breathe out, every space created now fills up with these colors of light. And 3. Allow your energy to just ebb. Allow it to echo. Allow it to fill through your egg, and then it spills out of your egg into the room you're in, into the house or apartment you're in, into the entire building you're in, into the next 3 buildings, and then the whole block, the neighborhood, the whole city, the state, and it's just pouring from the universe, this golden light, and your heart energy just spilling out, blessing everywhere, allowing your peace to come in, allowing your soul family to come in and fall to you. All of our energy starts to connect throughout the different states. It starts spreading into the ocean. It starts spreading all over the U.S. and all over Hawaii. Oceans are just filling up. Oceans are filling up in Europe and Africa, Australia. Just allow this golden light and this pink, loving, green, earthy, fertile energy just grow and love, filling up our whole space, knowing that our planet is now safe and loved and protected. Because there are so many loving parents, there are so many people with gifted children, there are so many lives and truth telling, cooking over seniors, all in flow. Fill your egg, fill your body, fill the egg you're in, fill your room, open your eyes. Then come the present. Hands up the chest. Here we go. It's that universal love, baby.
Whew. First time that's ever happened. I just saw that was freaky. Oh my gosh. It was like spider webbing, but thicker, like interlocking, like woo. And I got a heat rush, like I was coming out of a volcano. Oh my gosh.
Look at that. The future is ours, and apparently it's a little warm. AC. We're all getting kept in these pool. Wait, I'm in Hawaii. I should just go to the ocean. Duh. No night swimming. I'm not into the night swims.
Okay, I'm trying to see. Did I want to pull a cord? Let's see. What this family dynamic? I'm getting pulled to the destiny. Okay. It says 3 cards. Wow. Okay. So with this new family dynamic, what is source said this got to change? What do we have to surrender rather?
That's a good question. What is to be surrendered?
Oh, God, and this makes sense. Let me change. Is this one? This one. Okay. They said this has got to change. Surrender the habit of people pleasing. Why would source bring that out as a one? I'm like, why would source bring that out, class, as a card that we need to have with in getting into the new, defining the new dynamic of family?
I would say a lot of it has to do with self-judgment. And like, okay, so part of her is dark and part of her is light and flowers. And so even though the darkness still may appear to have like some kind of something in it, it's mostly just needing to step into the new way of being, actually our own alignment, not our, I mean, we can see our shadow, we can see that story in the past, but it doesn't have to define the future or where we're looking. Woo.
And how we communicate, because it seemed like you had a little issue with the communication there.
Yep. I was like, am I Rain Manning it? Did I go full Rain Man? So I was like, I'm out with you.
Yeah, it says, speak your needs. Interesting you called there, grasshopper, and be true to yourself.
I think also,
if that's all right.
Sorry, to add on to what she was saying. The speak your needs, when she started coughing, I heard it. Oftentimes as parents, we don't, and it, I mean, I know that there's the dynamic where we're supposed to parent the children, but we often don't speak to our children and tell them our needs. We put our needs on the back burner.
Right.
I started recently doing that with my son. Like, mommy needs to take a shower now. I can't just hold you while I do this. Like, you know, like just some things like that. And he's starting to kind of get that because he's learning. They say within the first 2 years they do it, but they don't know that they're a separate body from you.
Oh.
So they still are part. They're like, wait, why? That's why they always want to be touching you or with you, like it's your heartbeat, your breath, your smell, your everything. You are me, right? So if you're not next to me, how do I know I'm defined as me? Even if I do fall in love and awe with the universe, right? Because you see kids going, this is the world, you know? But then, oh wait, who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Where's my food? Well, my mom is food. Like my mom is home. Like I know my mom, right? And so they start to kind of step out and they gain certain parts of independence, and then they come back hardcore, and then when they're going through pain, that's where they always come back, you know, the teething, the comfort, you are their everything. So learning for him to be his own, that's what they call it. We should change it. It's what's the word? I'm going to come up with a new phrase for this.
Okay.
But when they're learning their identity, when they're learning themselves, they say something about being 2 years old. But what's a positive outlook? What's a positive thing to say about that? Because I want to change this paradigm. Because they talk about, you know, what I'm not saying. So what I'm actually saying.
Okay.
Like the tremendous twos or the terrific twos or the when you're learning something new, is there a word? The teachable twos, like learning your own body, learning that there's a no, learning that there's a yes, learning that there's a patience, right?
Okay.
Learning time.
Tremendous.
Good. It's a tremendous experience, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's kind of like almost social emotional learning, SEL.
Almost like
because we often say it in front of them too. They hear it; it goes in their ear gate. So yeah, and I never thought. Thank you, because I never thought about that.
What'd you say, Jedi?
Triumphant twos.
There we go.
Oh, that's great.
Because they're mastering the world. So they're triumphant twos.
Triumphant twos.
Yeah.
Now that's a t-shirt or a onesie or something.
That's a sippy cup.
Ain't that what they sleep in? No.
Yeah.
Well, it's just one outfit that is easy to use. And it drapes over their diapers so you don't have to see them walking around in their drawers. They're dwarves.
Oh, but there's nothing cuter than that little waddling diaper butt.
Unless it's really sagging and there's some, then you're just like,
Well, see, and that's when you're glad that you have, a 9 and a 14-year-old, and you go, whoever this belongs to.
Yeah. So the people pleasing, I think about that, like the family, like, don't worry about how other people, see your dynamic of this new dynamic of your family too. It's like, it's what, that's our needs. That's me and my twins' needs, or that's what my needs is, or that's what my child needs is this bonus mom. Don't worry about, how you think about it. Well, I wouldn't have her as her step up mother or dad. That's not about what you want. It's about what that child say they need. And they have gone in at that point. So, to forget about that people pleasing too. That bring me about it, but I think that's too radical too, as well as
but
families as well. You go on, and then I'll see if I feel brave enough to say what else they brought to me. Like, okay,
but they tell us when we go into physical union that we have to turn off or turn out that outside world and all of their opinions on how we handle our relationship.
Right.
Well, that would include our children, because they are part of that union. They're living in it.
Right.
They are feeding off of that. Yeah. So that's where that people pleasing comes from, because we all know that one person that's going to tell you how to feed your kid and how to diaper them and how to do this and how to do that. And, or I wouldn't let them talk to me like that. Let me tell you what would have happened if they would have talked to me like that. Well, sorry, that's not how. But, so that's where that people pleasing is coming from. It's actually an overflow from that union, because we have union with self.
Right.
And we have union with our divine partners. But I think we also then have that union with our soul children and with our own children.
True.
Because like April says, as we heal, they heal. And as then that union is built stronger, that respect is there, that love, that comfort, that home, to give them the confidence then as adults to know that they can face anything. So that's where the people pleasing comes from. It's another step of the union.
And knowing that they can be genuine about what they're saying, right? Knowing about how to and when it's appropriate for them to say no for themselves. Like, this is me drawing a line. This is me having a boundary, and it's okay for me to have a boundary.
Yeah. And that's an evolution from where we have been and what we've had to learn.
But they come in with the programming. It's the not allowing them to have it that I think, the whole, oh, well, you hug so-and-so, or will you give so-and-so, or you just show up there and you do that. And all that stuff is just unnecessary. If they don't feel the need to go there with it, with their physical affection, because children know when it's safe or when they feel ready, they should be allowed to have that type of expression.
Yeah.
And they also know when to handle no's themselves and what that means for someone else's boundary, because it's not to personally offend them, right? It's just to do that dance with them. And so, like, as we step into the world of that nature, because we're all children, right? Children of the earth, children of our parents, and we get to come in being, hand in hand, heart strong, and feeling heard and respected, and that allows us to stay at that higher vibration or stay at that higher frequency for longer. So I know that there's a lot of clearing out of the people pleasing, and I know that is totally just right on board.
Right, that source brought that out. And I think also about that, and I think about one person in our circle, she brought that up, and I think about that too. It's like, if you are in a karmic situation, a third party situation, and you feel the need to say, well, you got this family, how you gonna leave that person and you're gonna go to this again, understanding that even with that dynamic of you leaving that issue or that dynamic that you have there for you going after what you truly want, is also showing your child also how you going after you're fulfilling your own needs and your wants, not in what they want to say. People want to say that's selfish, but again,
Yeah.
if it's, should I stay in something that I know my heart is not in it and I'm slowly dying in it? You want me to stay in it because you're saying it's for the kids, or should I give them another template to go by? Is what, when I know that it's not good for me and my heart is not in it, you know that the conversations that's going back and forth between you and your mother is not healthy. I don't want to, no longer want you to see that. I want to show you there's another way. You go after what your heart wants to do. It's a more healthier relationship than you just staying in it because it's out of duty or out of honor. So that's another way that they were bringing it to me too, about that people pleasing, because you're in there to trying to please the family. You're in there to try to please the child, which you think you're pleasing the child, but you do a better service to them by showing them it's another way of how you can be able to show love, and I'll still be there for you as well.
And that comes into play where people are now ridding out any type of like sexual abuse, physical abuse, all of these things. People have just sat there and accepted that over some kind of just keeping it kosher for the neighbor, making it look good. And we're all kiboshing that. That's not everyone parenting, right? That's one person dictating a situation. So we are clearing that paradigm out right now. Like I see it leaving because we're all now accountable with each other, to each other. And even if we're not necessarily because of what's having us to what's allowing us to kind of come together individually, we now have to kind of look into, oh my gosh, just showing up for ourselves and for each other. Like we're now saying everyone, okay, so we're getting beyond soul family, we're getting into human species, global family, right? Human family.
Yeah.
But that, I think that's the way it is, because you all are part of my soul family. Oops. I'm not.
I hear her.
I can hear her.
I can't hear her. She's okay. Go on now. I'll be quiet. I can hear her. Go on.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can. It depends. Which one of us?
Depends if I want to hear what you're saying. No. It's one of those things where we're soul family, and then April's got part of her soul family. She's got her soul family, which we are part of, but then there are other people that are part of it, and I have mine, which are other people are a part of it, and Divine Sunshine has hers, and Bonita has hers. And so ultimately we are encompassing the world with our soul families from each one of us. Am I not being heard? Does somebody not?
No, we are all here.
Yeah, no, I heard you.
Yeah, Tina is not. So
I heard a high pitch A sound like somebody hit a pitchfork, and after that, her voice went. I don't hear nothing coming from her. I'm like, did Archangel Michael do something? I'm like, what? I can't hear it. She's speaking on the angel language frequency. I can't hear a damn thing.
See, that's what's we're also family. That's what's happening with me for you, Divine Sunshine. Yeah. That's why I keep moving up, because I'm like, what is she saying?
I can't hear anything. Like, what the hell?
All right, I can talk like this, but
no, you're fine. It has just says something with the programming right now. Like, it's all weird. Like, even the message I tried to send, half of it is cap locks. Like, what?
Okay.
Like, when did I start yelling in the chat for no reason? Anyway,
what's happening?
We're all on the playground, and we're all falling to pieces because we don't want to go back to school.
That's right. That's whatever it was gonna do. We got that. That's the point right there. Forget those other ones, because I'm like, I can't hear a word she's saying. Not at all. I don't know. Interesting. It's too much energy on here. That's what it is.
That's why I got kicked off.
All right, people. Oh, it's 1:24. I love you too. All right, then. So here we go. Is there I was about to say, any lasting comments? Although I can hear and they can hear you. So is there any ending comments as we wrap this up? By tonight?
I think one thing mentally we can do is there are a couple things. You can write a letter to your your soul children, if you know them. If your DM has children, you can write a letter to them and burn it, release it to the universe, you know, comforting them and letting them know that you're there for them, that you're not there to destroy anything, that you're there to help them. Another thing you can do, and this happens a lot of times when I do the meditations of April's, is I feel the energy, you know, through my body, and it comes out my hands. You've heard me talk about that a couple times, my hands, my feet, and they vibrate and stuff. Rub them together. And then you start, once you feel the heat, start with an energy ball. And as you do that, fill it with love. Fill it with that gold light, that love, everything you want to send them, and fill it right in front of your heart. Fill it with that green, and as you feel it, it's going to keep getting bigger. And then get a picture of those kids, if they are here or not here, if it, you know, they're kids to come or they are kids that are here, and just fill that ball with so much love and compassion and trust and security. And then once you get that all full, you picture those kids, and you just, you know, it brings tears to my eyes, because I think all four are mine. And, you know, I just get it nice and full, and I pull it close to my heart, and then I throw it. And I throw it out into the universe, and I send them that love. I send them that love and let them feel it. And if it's for kids that aren't here yet, that they're those little soul cherubs hanging out waiting, then, you know,
it went to some different direction. That was cool. That was fun. That's a fun exercise. Mark that time. Whoever's watching it, mark that time.
Mark that time.
Yeah, so Divine Sunshine can know what happened.
That was cool. That was cool. That was cool. Any other last words or anything else, Bonita?
They brought something to me, and then I was listening to Kathy, and I got so enamored that it went so 10 to 1, it'll be brought back to me, and it'll be put in a video. So
okay.
And I'll be getting a text at like 4:30 in the morning.
That's the best time. The best time to do that.
That is. Then we can play it over and over again. So yeah, put it in the video, most definitely on that one. Okay, I hold you at the same time because you understand.
It's I feel so good. You had a second card, didn't you?
Yeah, I have one, but I can't, you know, on my end, I'm like, but I can't still hear Kathy, do
But we can hear you. But we can hear you. What's the card?
You can. The next one was called Realization and Epiphanies.
That's funny.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Realization and Epiphanies. That was the second card. And then I had one to see what was family's dynamics change. And that was the third one. I said, what was that destined for? Clear. And the spirit had told me to bring that out too. And I hope it ain't no crane, but it's not. Because it represents a new opportunity. Opportunity. And that's why the dynamics of family is changing.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
So
we have
somebody repeat this for me, but that moon, it's like the childhood, the fairy tale, the man,
the fairy tale moon,
the man on the moon and the dish with the spoon.
Yep. Man in the moon and the dish ran away with the spoon. Now I can talk.
The cow jumped over the moon. Hey diddle diddle, or the cat and the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon.
Nursery rhyme. She's saying that the moon reminds her of the nursery rhyme.
Oh,
and everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And seeing that, you know, the family, it might look one way, but it also represents a whole bunch of opportunities that it presents as well.
They brought it back.
Come in, baby.
They brought it back. I kept hearing, what if, or during separation phase, you know, things get said, things get thrown out and everything during physical separation things. And I kept hearing, well, my DM said he didn't want kids. My DM said he didn't want kids. He already has kids. He already has kids, but I feel connection. I kept hearing this over and over again. Source force, that's what I call them. Sorry, they're like a force. Anyways, they want you to know that nothing is done without a reason. There is a reason. If you feel a connection to these children, if your DM says, oh, I don't want kids, there's a reason for everything said, everything done. And if it's involving the kids, there's a reason for it. So
Okay.
Trust your instincts and try to flow with it.
Okay. Speaking of children, wait a second. Okay, let me hurry up.
You're on mute.
It's milk time already. He's already saying he's trying to do the great reveal. Get you on out of here. All right,
So
this
funny.
was a beautiful discussion. Yeah, I already know because when he did this, I said, "Oh hell, okay." It's about to show everything. I can't have the FCC or whatever they call it.
It's not going to work if you move your angle. I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to keep it not on the screen. I know I'm doing conscious conception and all of these things. And I have some stuff in the works on 5D parenting, but I promise to not flash. For this video. We don't need any more troubles from YouTube censorship.
No, so don't. Not on my end. I already got slapped a couple of times. Okay. All right. All right. As we in here, if you want some more Jedi mind tricks that this lovely lady has here, go to pineapplefishlifecoaching.com for Miss Kathy D for you to get the more information on how you can be the best version of yourself. All right. And then we also have our own golden girl here, our own Hawaiian goddess made for this goldenlife.com. She has the Golden Lifestyles Unlimited company there. So if you want some more meditations that she has there, and beautiful, if you really are seriously about having babies and clearing up the wounds and the energy so you can be able to house this new generation of gods and goddesses and light workers and ascended masters coming back on the earth again, hit up made for this goldenlife.com so you can be able to show you the way, most definitely. And then also we have our own here, Miss Bonita, Divinelightrising at gmail.com if you want some more information from her. And she has her own channel. Say it one more time for me, please, so I don't mess it up and have people going to a fishing place.
Wave of a beautiful warrior.
Wave of a beautiful warrior. She has everything. Her platform is about family. So if you're really about family dynamics or you're thinking about having family, already having family and wondering how you're going to blend that family to be a true light worker, Brady Bunch type of family, make sure that you come and hit up Bonita at her YouTube channel as well. And Gmail, give her some email love as well too if you want a little bit more perspective about that too. Also, if you want to get more information of getting a program with all three of us, myself, Kathy D, and April Williams, that is you get the trifecta there. You don't have to go gambling to get that, but you add the mind, the spirit, the mind, the spirit, and the body. Those three things get the programming. We already got wonderful reviews from that, from using our program. It's just $92, and you get an hour from each of us and some extra bonuses too as well. Right? Yeah, that's right. Bonita,
she was our first customer.
She was the first client there. So she's like, already. Well, how was the experience? Just tell them real quick. Now I forgot we got a real life spokesperson.
It was mind blowing. I mean, I did get to have a one-on-one in a restaurant with Kathy, but I'm just special like that. But I mean, seriously, having the trifecta, it was amazing. It really helped. It did.
It really, right. Bonita ain't gonna say that. She would have kept her mouth closed and let me go. Trust me, don't trust that sweet face over there. She's like, I don't know nothing about that trifecta they're talking about. If it was no good. So you can also go there and check out the program and things and also book there as well. And if you want card readings as well with me, you can do that as well. Go to Divineunisouls11.co and book with me. Remember always, if you like what we're throwing over here and you want to see some more about the playground experience or the sandbox experience, which I told you we're having a real special thing that we're going to do in the sandbox this Friday. We're cooking it up. So you want to make sure that you are there to see what special guest is going to come on here on Friday. So make sure that you click like, share, and subscribe. Smash that bell so you can be able to get notifications when we are going live on here. All right, then let's sign us on out of here so the baby can get milk wasted. All right, Kathy D, let's go.
Wishing you your best life ever and see you soon. Also, remember Pineapple Fish Life Coaching offering a new service, which is hypnotherapy. So check me out for that one.
All right, then. And April Williams.
Stay
Woohoo!
blessed. Stay golden.
All right, Bonita, you got to sign off.
Always follow your heart and ride the wave.
Oh, hey, woo, I see
Professional.
that. And always with me, stay uplifted. You're sliding, dang it. All right, here we go. I'm going to stay, I'm going to go. Mwah. Love you. All right, you all. See you in the sandbox on Friday.
Aloha.